Hey, I'm Jen, and Sing Street should have won the Oscar. Quick reminder here at the top that this is an inclusive space where Black Lives Matter and we are anti-Asian hate. That means that you are safe here in the video with me and in the comments below, where no hate speech of any kind will be tolerated. If there's anything that we can do to make our content more inclusive or accessible, please let us know. Today we are talking about Q4. We are, in fact, in the last quarter of 2021, and I don't know if I'm ready for the year to be over or if I'm not willing to find out what comes next. But either way, time is moving along, and it is, in fact, cue the music, the most wonderful time of the year. It's time for Preptober and NaNoWriMo. Before I get swept up in the excitement and hyper-focus of that one specific huge project on my plate, I am planning out the entirety of Q4 because I have more than just my NaNoWriMo project coming up, and I have a lot of deadlines that I need to keep track of. So I'm going to show you how I'm using the Heartbreathings HB90 planner this quarter to try and stay on track and make sure that all of my goals are met. So the HB90 method starts with looking at your overall goals. So your long-term career goals or where you want to go with it. Do you want to self-publish, traditionally publish? Are you writing so that you can work from home and have more time with your kids? Whatever your goals are, the HB90 method starts with helping you identify what those are. So the first 50 or so pages of the planner is really kind of a goals and vision planner. And it has a vision board and your vision statement. You describe what your ideal day would be like, all those kinds of things. I have done that in the past, and I did it again to remind myself what those visions are and what is still on my board versus what was there earlier this year. And that is how I started planning my Q4. Looking at the projects that I want to do, I tend to get really ambitious and want to do everything all at once. So I used the planner to narrow down which projects I've already committed to versus ones that are pipe dreams, things that I just simply don't have time for, especially in a quarter that includes NaNoWriMo, and narrowed it down to what I think is a manageable load of goals. I'm still getting used to using this method, and I'll talk about this when I show you my Kanban board as well. But I broke down my goals into actual writing output and then building a community around that writing, especially focused on increasing conversion from YouTube to Patreon, and then also developing a better work-life balance. It's really difficult right now with the kids home during COVID, but I'm really trying to find a good balance between having my work and having family time, like actual family time. That's not me watching the kids because I don't have another choice at the moment. So I worked on those goals as my guiding principles for the quarter. In this method, you break those goals down into projects that will help you move towards each of those goals. So you'll see me kind of pulling some information out of my project brainstorm and my task sheets as I'm going through the month of October. You take the projects and then you break those projects down into tiny little tasks. So for NaNoWriMo, that would be down to 1,000 words at a time or 2,000 words at a time, depending on how you want to break those tasks down. And then you organize those on your calendar to make sure that you're making progress towards whatever your goals are. Working on this part of the planner took me a ton of time, and I ended up missing some pieces while I was creating my sticky notes for my Kanban board and then going back and finding out that I had miscategorized projects and things. But it's all time that I think was very valuably spent because I have broken down these tasks and made them into a visual board so that I can more easily see everything that I've got on my plate. I also found myself spacing out my tasks a lot more as I was planning them, thinking I was going to start absolutely everything on October 1st was unrealistic, and it was just going to be a crazy making process because I would get to October 15th and be like, okay, I've made no progress on anything because I know myself and I know that I would get paralyzed by that abundance of choice. So that is already a big benefit that I see to planning this way. Breaking these projects down into these smaller tasks makes it much easier to handle and much easier to tackle because I know maybe I can get 3 tasks done from something that I won't really have time to super focus on until December, but I'll have made a start on it. And I know that that's what I want to work on this week or next week. it feels like progress to put it on the calendar. And I know that this works with NaNoWriMo, for instance, because I don't get an idea for a novel and then think, okay, I have to sit down and write these 50,000 words or it'll never get done. I think, that'd be a really great project for November, which is a time that I set aside and dedicate to this particular type of project every year. So technically this is my third quarter using the HB90 method, but I think this is the first one that I've really sat down and done all of the prep work before the quarter begins. The Kanban board is the final piece in the HB90 method. It is a board system that was actually created for business, and it's so that you can see how the flow of production is working, but it's been adapted by a lot of creative folks to help them organize their own workflow, and Sarah has organized it in a way that works really well for writers. So the different colors on the Kanban board are representative of the different goals that correspond with the HB90. For me, I really like color coding it based on month so that I know when any chunk of post-it notes is actually relevant. So instead of looking at that board and seeing all of those post-it notes up there and thinking I have to accomplish all of that at once, I can tell that everything that's in pink is what I'm concerned with during the month of October. Everything in purple is going to be December. Everything in blue is November. Kind of ran out of room up there in the top part, so I only have the first 20,000 words because I put one sticky note up for each 1,000 words. As I move those down, I'll put the next 30,000 up. The Kanban board traditionally starts on the left side of the board and moves over to the right as production continues, but Sarah adapted it so that it goes top to bottom, and I also really like that method, so that's how I've designed my board as well. There are 3 sections of this board. At the top, it's all the projects that on your to-do list for the whole quarter. In the middle there, I have anything that is in progress for the week, and then once it's done, it goes down in the bottom third of the board. So you'll see that obviously right now, everything is up in the top third of the board, and I've pulled out the 2 projects that are already in progress so that I don't have to wait until October 1st. And that is my Kanban board for the quarter 4. I haven't had a ton of success with the Kanban board in the past, but I also haven't had a ton of access to my office on a daily basis. So now that I have this space back, hopefully this will be a much more useful tool than it has been in the past. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. We have finally hit 50 subscribers, which doesn't sound like much, but I am really excited because that was my goal for the end of 2021. So here we are. Thank you everyone who has already subscribed. It would mean a ton to me if you recommend this channel to 1 or 2 or 3 more friends and get them on this wonderful little train. If you are already subscribed and have already liked that video, you know the next step. Ring that bell wherever it is over here to make sure that you are notified every time there's new content here on the channel. Don't forget that this month and next month for Preptober and NaNoWriMo, we will be having weekly videos updating you on what I'm working on, how my progress is going, and some cool tips for how you can stay on track with your National Novel Writing Month goals as well. And last plug, I promise, I've got my Patreon resource library up and running. Once every 2 weeks, there's a much shorter video, a nice deep dive into a free digital resource. That's what I'm working on right now. There will be a new series coming up at the beginning of 2022. So you can find the Patreon link down below, but it is patreon.com/writewithapendragon. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope you are having a wonderful start to your October, and we will see you next time. As always, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.
Are you always this articulate?
Hercules. My name is Hercules.